Let's talk about political violence, shall we? Remember all the stories you heard about Hitler going around Germany, handing people a microphone, and publicly debating them about their beliefs? No, you don't, because that didn't happen. The Nazis weren't big on open debate or freedom of expression. In fact, in the early days, as the Nazis and Hitler were getting their start in politics, violence against opponents was welcome. Walter Rothenau, a brilliant man, a leader in industry, a philosopher and statesman. According to Sebastian Haffner, a truly great man who stirred the imagination of young people and the masses. But he was a Jew, a capitalist, pro-republic, and was negotiating peace for Germany in the post-war era. So he had to go. On June 24, 1922, 3 young men, one of them a high school junior, shot him driving down the road. The reaction described by Haffner seems oddly familiar. Initially, shock, then anger and mourning. The public assassination of this one man divided the country. Half loved or at least respected him, the other half hated him and saw his death as necessary at best, or at worst, his own fault. Hitler and the Nazis had nothing to do with the actual assassination, this being early in their existence, but they certainly felt at home in this bed of political violence. Hitler's half-baked militia, the Stormtroopers or Brownshirts, were used for Nazi rally security, but more importantly, they were used for violence and disruption of anything they didn't like. Once when the movie All Quiet on the Western Front was showing, the Brownshirts, who found the movie offensive, harassed the crowd, let off stink bombs and mice, and made a general nuisance of themselves. When the police arrived, everyone at the scene claimed they were just trying to watch the movie. In another case, the Stormtroopers saw a bookstore with books in the window that they found offensive. They harassed the bookstore owner and his customers until he removed the books from the window. In another incident, Hitler himself led an attack, breaking up a meeting and physically knocking down the speaker, Otto Ballerstedt. Hitler served a month in jail but told the police, "We got what we wanted." Ballerstedt did not speak. That is perhaps the best example of who the Stormtroopers were. A group of politically motivated brawlers trying to stop any and all public opposition to their cause. Hitler's job was to spread his message. The Stormtroopers' job was to make sure no one else could spread theirs. How did they get away with this? Hitler would never have gotten far without cooperation from the police and the judicial system. His contacts and sympathizers in the police would often turn a blind eye to Stormtrooper violence. When Nazi political agitators did face arrest and go to court, they would get lenient sentences. But anyone who had opposed the Nazis would get the severest sentences possible. When Hitler was arrested for the Ballerstedt assault, he was sentenced to 3 months in prison and was let go after only 1. Hitler's rise is not an indictment of free speech, but of political violence. He did not come to power because of what he said, but because of what others were not allowed to say.